In 1947, a strange and desperate distress signal burst across the Indian Ocean. It wasn't directed at one ship. It blasted out in all directions, a blind plea for help that was caught by American, Dutch, English, and several other international listening stations. Once triangulated, the signal pointed toward a single drifting vessel. What rescuers found would become one of the most chilling maritime mysteries of the last century. The story of the SS Orang Medan. The distress transmission came through in Morse code. The first line was horrifying. All officers, including the captain, are dead, lying in chart room and bridge. Possibly whole crew dead. A burst of indecipherable code followed, then two final words, I die. Then silence. One of the nearest ships, the American vessel Silver Star, coordinated with other ships and listening posts to pinpoint the sender, a Dutch freighter drifting near the end of the Strait of Malacca. Attempts to signal the ship went unanswered. No lights, no movement, no figures on deck. Despite the ominous silence, the Silver Star rerouted and approached. Even from a distance, seasoned sailors sensed something wrong. The ship wasn't anchored. It was dead in the water, swaying aimlessly in the currents. When they drew closer, the unease deepened. No crew rushing to the rails, no officers at the bridge. The vessel looked abandoned. Yet someone had just sent a frantic message for help. After repeated failed attempts to communicate, whistles, lanterns, the crew of the Silver Star prepared to board. Nothing could have prepared them. The moment they stepped onto the Orang Medan's deck, they found bodies. Dozens. Crew members lay on their backs, arms frozen, outstretched, as if shielding themselves from something above. Every face was contorted in pure, violent terror. Eyes open, mouths twisted mid-scream. Even the ship's dog was dead, teeth bared at the empty sky. Inside the bridge, the same scene, the officers all fallen, all wearing that same expression of agony. The radio operator still sat slumped over the telegraph key, as though he had died in the middle of transmitting the distress call. The lower they descended into the ship, the stranger it became. The boiler room, normally stifling hot, was shockingly cold, around 40 degrees Fahrenheit by rescuers' estimate, despite the tropical heat outside. More bodies lay scattered, again with no signs of injury and the same horrific expressions. There was no structural damage, no fire, no struggle. The engine was simply off. Yet the crew appeared to have died in terror and were decomposing far faster than expected, despite the distress signal having been sent only hours earlier. The Silver Star captain ordered the bodies left untouched. The plan was to tow the Orang Medan back to port for investigation. A tow line was secured. Moments after the ships began to move, smoke began rising from the Orang Medan's hull. The Silver Star cut the line and pulled away. Seconds later, the Orang Medan exploded with such force that witnesses said it lifted completely out of the water before crashing back down and sinking into the sea, taking all physical evidence with it. Only memories remained. In the decades since, skeptics have argued the ship never existed, noting its absence from Lloyd's shipping registers. Supporters counter that it may have been deliberately unregistered, possibly transporting illegal or volatile chemicals, nitroglycerin, potassium cyanide, materials that could explain the crew's deaths and the violent explosion. But even if that were true, the central mystery remains. What terrified an entire crew to death at the exact same moment without leaving a single mark on any of them?